Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for making it through this very long day. If you don't mind standing up, just to wake yourself up, stretch out. We're almost at the end. I promise I won't take too much of your time. And you can sit back down. If you did that 33 more times, that's how much energy it would take to do one ChatGPT search. Raise your hand if you use AI or ChatGPT, Claude in your daily life, business. Okay, the majority of people. All right. And raise your hand if you knew that one ChatGPT search takes 10 times as much energy as a Google search. Exactly. And at the same time, there was a report that just came out by Google and by, oh, there's my slide, by Google and by a Boston consulting group that said at the same time, AI has the capability to reduce our greenhouse gas emissions by 10%. So as you can see, we're in a bit of a paradox. While there is massive energy demands coming from AI, at the same time, it can help us be more energy efficient and advance our green energy transition. And so this is exactly why I wanted to research and look into, can AI help us solve climate change, or will it just push us further down the line and create worse problems? And that's why I launched the podcast, The Optimist Circuit. You can find it on Spotify or Apple or anywhere you get your podcasts. And the goal with this podcast was to, as if you were here earlier, I mentioned, is to connect the circuit between AI, technology, nature, and people to spark optimism and share solutions for society. Because my name is Ellen Spooner, and I've been working in communications for the past decade in sustainability, more focused on ocean conservation. And I realized we also not only have a climate crisis, but we also have a communications crisis. Hap Klopp mentioned earlier during the lunch break that we need to focus on solutions, and we need to be more positive and optimistic in the way that we tell those stories, because that's what inspires action. So I began a mission to identify stories of how people are using AI to create a more sustainable future. And in my almost decade of doing communications, I've worked at organizations including the Smithsonian, NOAA, the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration. I've partnered with National Geographic, and I work at a nonprofit where we partner with island nations to help them sustainably develop their ocean economy. And in some of my own personal experiences at these organizations, one at the Smithsonian, we have the scientists that are discovering new species. And I used to work with some of the scientists that would go to the depths of the ocean. And what they used to have to do to identify new species was to either take the animal itself, the whole thing, and bring it up to land, do genetic testing, have some of our experts look at its morphology and identify if it was a new species or not. But now with AI, what we can do is just take a photo of it or take a video of it so that we don't have to disturb these very, very delicate marine environments and identify if it's a new species or not. And another example that I really like to share of how we are using AI to be more sustainable is in my current role at the nonprofit. We, like I mentioned, we partner with island nations. So I work in very, very, very remote places. Just a month ago, I was in a country called Vanuatu. I don't know if you've ever heard of it. It's an island nation near Fiji. It's one of the most at-risk countries in the world for climate change and natural disasters. In December, they just experienced a 7.6 earthquake that completely destroyed all of their infrastructure. And we are working with them to help them sustainably develop their ocean economy. Because these island nations are small land pieces, but they own massive parts of the ocean. And so it's a huge opportunity for them to build their economy. And what we do is in 2023, we conducted one of the largest coral reef surveys ever done. And I led the communications for that. And how our team is using AI now is they use the satellite imagery plus the data that we've collected to combine it all together to identify how the coral reefs are doing. And the assessment that we did is going to serve as a baseline. So where are the coral reefs doing healthy? Where are they unhealthy? And how can we use that information to better manage their oceans? And then sustainably develop parts of their oceans. Aquaculture is a huge opportunity in these countries. A lot of these people are natural farmers, and just applying that same knowledge to the sea can be a huge opportunity for them to build their economy and create a future that allows their people to thrive. I've also more recently been doing research into AI and data centers specifically because, as you guys have heard through all the speakers today, AI and data centers are requiring a lot of energy. And one of the more interesting stories that I found through my research was how Microsoft in 2015 tested putting a data center underwater at the bottom of the ocean to see if that would help cool it and if it could still function, because a large part of the energy demand is keeping these data centers cool. And so they put it in a nitrogen-sealed vessel at the bottom of the ocean off the coast of Scotland, and they left it there for 2 years just as an experiment. And at the end of the 2 years, they found that this data center was 8 times more efficient than the ones that they had on land. And it still functioned and provided the data that they needed. And so that showed that that is a sustainable model that can be done and reduce the cost of energy required to cool those systems. Of course, there's lots of questions of like, where in the ocean are they putting it? How is it impacting the marine environment around it? You know, you have to do a full life cycle analysis to fully understand all of the impacts, but at least we're seeing these types of innovations. And so there's now a Chinese company named HiCloud who's doing this at a commercial scale. So they are putting data centers at the bottom of the ocean on a commercial scale to help build their AI models. And again, there's lots of questions that you need to think around this, but I like that to look for innovative solutions that people are trying to do to create more efficient futures and more sustainable futures. Another example of how people are using AI that is very exciting to me is researchers are using AI models to advance our research in nuclear fusion. Many of you know that nuclear fusion is hailed as the holy grail of renewable energy. If we can figure that out, we can have unlimited clean energy, zero to limited waste products, and also at lunch, the gentleman was talking about small modular reactors. And there's tons of scientists that are using AI to do research on these projects that used to take them months, and now it takes them minutes. And I'm very optimistic and hopeful that we can use these AI tools to advance that and really accelerate this renewable energy transition. And so with all of that, I ask myself again, is AI sustainable? Can we use it to create a more sustainable future, or is it taking us further off the path? And the bottom line is that AI is not inherently sustainable or unsustainable. It's determined by people like you in this room who are using it and building it and what your values are. And we're at a very critical time in history. Not only are we in a window of opportunity to make change with climate change, where we can actually solve it and make a difference, but we also have this new tool on the scene, AI, that can help us get there. And I believe that because there's this high demand for energy due to the data centers and these large tech companies that are producing these AI models, they have the money and now the drive to really push this clean energy transition to the directions that we need at the speed that we need. So I am very optimistic about how we can use AI to be sustainable, and I ask you to look into how you could use AI to make your business, your personal life more sustainable as well. And if you're interested in hearing more stories, you can check out my podcast, The Optimist Circuit. It's on Apple or Spotify. Thank you very much.